punting unit out.
Well, now you have to punt. So here's the matchup we were talking about. Christian Gonzalez is going to be one-on-one on T. Higgins when they're in man coverage. He's trying to get...
It has been a tough night tonight for Zion McCollum because they're having to work so hard to try and stop the running game and to help in...
Route, a slant route, going on Quinyon Mitchell, gets bumped into.
It's another nice route. We talked about Jackson Smith and Jigba, but there's Van Jefferson doing the exact same.
Across the neutral zone, they didn't call it, but you're right. I mean, Christian Watson early in his career.
Release. I mean, he's a very, very good route runner, and in one of the great
Hands catching, and this is actually a run play. Pickens uses his kind of
not bite on this in this situation. Braswell is in there, and he bites on the double move. You get a slight little pump.
Sometimes you run routes at the sticks, and sometimes you just stutter and run right by the defender who
step up. Gabe Davis now, he only didn't play that much. Good to see him back from that injury that he had in Jacksonville, and Lassiter just gets lost there.
By Brown. Brown on the right side working on Ravel. Defense, as you'll see right here, Pickens running the in-cut, crossing over Dory Jackson.
Little motion, get a little separation, be able to get some space on the outside against Tre'Davious White. Good job there by
catch. The high 7 again, in and back to the corner. Dak knows when he's down there one-on-one, and DeJean's
job of getting back and being decisive. He's done that now. This is third week in a row. There's one thing you can really give him.
You're going to see McCollum way outside shoulder out here, right? So watch what happens. He's going to give him the quick, hard inside move and still got out there.
Looking like he's just going to go upfield, but a little comeback route. Good timing on the throw by May. That's what speed does, Kevin, is you're worried about drives for Carolina.
You wouldn't think by alignment you would get this throw based on what San Francisco showed pre-snap. But Teteroa McMillan runs an excellent route. Mustafa, number 6.
And if it is, I'm always good with no flag if both of them are fighting each other. And I think the answer is yes. Tylan Wallace, Jason, what'd you think?
I'll tell you what, this is what Mooney can do. He can fly. And it's heavy play action. This is the one time the Saints have allowed Mooney to get over the top. And just a perfectly thrown.
Great play by J.C. Horn, because I understand what Purdy was trying to do. He just wants to lay this ball and let Jennings then go run into it. It's a little behind him.
And they went heavy. They brought Blake Fisher in 1st and 10. They brought Cade Stover in. And then they get Nico Collins lined up one-on-one with Benford. Good job of coming back to that football.
Let's take that, Collinsworth. There we go. Nice move. Again, setting it up inside. And this is when you're not the biggest guy in the world, takes a...
Well, we talked some of the struggles coming in, the low completion percentage, throwing downfield to the left. This time, he can't throw the ball. First down.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the one guy you can't let do this, and I know that at some point there's going to be defensive calls, and you want to be able to play a...
Catches 101. Just watch this route right here. You've got to win these one-on-one matchups. I keep talking possible penalty, possible not. But right now, Mahomes, I keep talking about...
Cole Bishop, 24, who's kind of bracketing him from the inside. So he beats 47, but takes a big hit there.
JSN going up against the safety. That's what you want. You're done. You're in trouble right there. He's on top of you. And a really good throw and really well played. I like the way the hand is up a little bit.
With 7 seconds on the clock.
I just mentioned Khalif Raymond just streaking down the field. No one touches him. Look how fast he gets up the field. Makes one cut.
Of 25, first down, Jacksonville.
How good is this? Just one-on-one. Washington isn't the tallest of receivers, but he's going one-on-one with Burke, who has had 2 interceptions in the last 3 games on first down, and makes...
Over these last 2 plays, we're seeing the explosiveness of this offense of Lamar getting the ball down the field.
Something we've been waiting for, but we've talked about Flowers needing to be much more involved. And they had really good protection there, and a heck of a throw right there by Lamar Jackson. And then Flowers
have converted on 3rd down.
And Charles, you said it, Lamar getting the ball out a little bit quicker there. Matched the double move by Hopkins at the top of the screen. Watch him right there. That little hesitation gets the rookie Thomas. And
to the line to gain, it's going to be, actually it's a first down Cardinals.
Good physical rep. And really when you watch Brown, he's had an excellent season. And that's really where he excels, in that press man-to-man. And then there's Wilson. Again, just watching him in the last couple weeks. Well, was that ball on?
This is O'Shea. He's going to get the ball on a reverse. I thought it was going to be a reverse pass to the front side. Instead, he's waiting for Jameis Winston, who then gets open, going against Derek Barnes, somehow breaks the tackle, dances in.
You're going to watch him here. He's going to be about 6 yards away, but he's just reading the eyes of Trevor Lawrence. Makes a break on that football, takes a peek, and makes a beautiful...
Urgent time for Kansas City.
It's at the highest. This is DEFCON 2. I'm not in all the stacks and bunches, just going up and breaking out, and that is a great route.
This is going to turn out to be a one-on-one matchup. Colson Loveland against Kyle Duggar. And he sets him up with a tiny
19 yards on the pass play.
This is a great little whirly bird route. Pretend you're going inside across the field and then spin back out.
And there is Emmanuel Forbes, a former first-round draft pick from Washington. And if he can get his game going like this, and they can play a little, not do the fake so much. A lot of magic between these two guys. Devontae Adams has come over here, and Puka Nacua handles a lot of the heavy work down inside, catch and run. At the top of their route, then these receivers, watch this little double wiggle right as he gets to the breaking point at the top, and just no chance whatsoever.
Purdy and Juwan Jennings were on the same page, which is a little unusual because of how precise this passing game is and the fact that they've worked together. And Juwan Jennings looked like he was late.
Shaking free there for 32.
He's had a sensational start to his career. He really has. He's averaged like 16 yards a catch, which is third in the NFL. But Jordan Whittington on the far side, he's a guy that was a running back at Texas and then moved to wide receiver. So you're going to see a little ability to catch it and make somebody miss. Almost happy for McCollum here on this one because he has been burned outside by the quick releases. 2 touchdowns all to get his feet set, and that cost him just a little precious time. And Durant was able to catch up and make this play. Great hustle to get back, get his head back around. A big tight end and Cade Otton coming down trying to drill you and staying focused on that tackle. Team the wide receivers, do you? Okay, we have 2 guys there. That means Parkinson's going to go one-on-one and be wide open right behind him. You jump the wide receiver.
Pressure, and so they're locked up, and good coverage by Renardo Green as he plays tough, plays physical.
Watch him. He just has a little swagger working here tonight. It's easy when you have a big lead. I got all that. But that's just as bad as it gets for a receiver right here. You bobble, and then hand it to a defensive back, basically. And it's interesting that he did have a little control in there.
In this game when he made a play, and this guy, he is one of the more impressive young players that I have watched coming into a ball game, and not to say it's been perfect because
does this more than anybody I know. He runs his routes in between people, sometimes between the guard and the tackle, that time between the tackle and the tight end, but it is very different.
Guys this well. I mean, that's Denzel Ward against Brock Bowers. I know Bowers is
long time.
That is a beautiful throw and catch. Right foot down, left foot down, not bobbling it. That is incredible. And Brock Bowers needs a better block right here. I don't know why Brock Bowers took a couple steps forward.
Well, a concerted effort by New England here to take away T. Higgins. See the jam at the line of scrimmage and then double over the top. So Flacco goes to his one-on-one on the deep corner.
Juice, watch this throw on the previous play to Ferguson. Got great chemistry, goes to the top. Really designed for Brevin Spanford. It's really designed for the running back, Williams, but he runs into Nolan Smith. Spanford in the back of the end zone, kind of.
I'd say this, though, that's your matchup. You know, Olave is one of these great down-the-field threats. He plays the ball very well in the air. As you see, he almost comes back and is able to make a play here.
Broke in front of Adoree Jackson. He kind of runs the post route. Dak maybe thought he was going to go outside of him. That's why CD can't find it in the air. One-on-one with DeJean on the outside. A little hand fighting.
Pass interference. Defense number 33. Penalty declined. He's on the play. First down.
Yeah, Dak loved that matchup from the beginning. As soon as he looked.
And this is the second time in this game, at least, Tillman's not expecting the ball.
Yeah, he does a great job of just robbing the middle of the field. You know, you see him so much when he's
there. Watch the blitz. The blitz gets home, so Shedeur has to buy time. Tyree Wilson comes free, rolls to his right, throwing on the move. That is a dot.
Great job on just the slant route on DeJean. Again, one of Pickens' best route. He's the backside there, nickel. And then you got Brown just on the catch. Bland, you just got to come up there and just break down.
Let's see. One hand up, both feet down to the air, possession.
Rolling on the field is an interception by the defense. First down, Chicago.
I think that's a catch. He's got possession there. He had
good start for the New Orleans Saints here. They bottle up some of that outside zone game in order to get into these 3rd and longs. And this is actually where I think.
Yeah, kind of going for the jugular. Smith with the high 7, the corner route. Ball's up in the air long.
Terrific play by Denzel Ward again.
But 14.5 on average.
That is insane. 3rd and 14.5. Love the route combination there. Tyson Campbell.
Concentration. I don't even think his body realized it was hurt until way after because he was so focused.
Wow, what a spark. And that's the juice they need. That's when he gets in open space and where he's most dangerous, where he's making 1 or 2 miss.
Defense here. DJ Moore's going to drive into the heart of the defense and then put the brakes on and find plenty of space in the middle.
Are blocking, they're blocking, and then you just slowly release them on some of these wheel routes and different things to create some down the field opportunity.
Genty or Bowers. Just a quick out route against a very good man-to-man cover corner. Has to be a completion. Number 1, right in the middle of your screen. It's going to be a deep flag route. He is wide open, and that is one.
A lot of traffic, a lot of confusion amongst the Bears defenders. Look at all 3. Just kind of standing together.
That one covers 17 yards.
This is a matchup I was really curious to see. Malik Harrison is in there for the Steelers at linebacker on
another first down.
Joey Porter Jr. is going to blitz here, which leaves a free release into the backfield.
Brissett has been precise, and this time Lloyd, he just drops out a little bit too far. He gets on top of Michael Wilson.
Thinking and even quicker reaction by Zay Flowers. Watch as he goes across the middle. As he goes down, he's down, but he's up and back on his feet.
4th and 4. It was Braswell and Wingard on the coverage.
Well, they get what they want with the safety biting down on the underneath route, and they think that they have that one-on-one, but boy.
By these 2 rookie tackles. Olu Fashanu, number 74 left tackle, and Armand Membu.
For the Bengals, first down, New England.
Well, this time Matt's up on the right side, and
nice catch.
As I said, just one.
Gaither, it looks like he's going to, number 27, jump the tight end in the flat, and then he's just going to reverse inside. Lawrence thinks he has.
From 67 and did not make it. But that 16-yard reception right there by.
There's Amon-Ra going to run right back to the outside. He's working against their backup, Corey Black.
Yoshivash working on the right. He just goes and hooks up. He says, oh, there's an opening in the middle of the field. Good thing he was coming back to.
On the football by Johnson. Just coming in there and just laying out, getting that hand in there. Safeties and coverage. Jalen Thompson, number 34. The best thing he does is he keeps his outside leverage. And because he has that.
The Patriots decide to blitz. They bring that safety pressure like they've done a couple of times today. Yoshivash on the comeback. And because he had. Well, this gets left to the inside a little bit. That's why it's knocked away. If he leaves that to the boundary,
Jameis Winston into that. So just watch what he does here as far as falling back. That is a tremendous play by Amik Robinson. They've run that so many times, and they've had it open so many times. This time, great individual effort by Amik Robinson for that.
You'll see he's going to be the one that fall off and get to the ball. Free man coming up the middle. He had to throw it, but he'll just let Matt Collins go. Or Turner just let Matt Collins go, and he came.
Hamilton said some of the dances he's talking about was when he was in high school. Some of the guys on the defense weren't born yet. Was
late to get to his feet.
Defending, Lions will send out the punting unit.
You know, I'm looking to see Cordell Flott He didn't get a hand on the football, but I wonder if he distracted Jameson Williams' eyes. And that's what it looks like. Now, of course,
Hollins just on a little curl route, trying to come back to the football, but Hill there to knock.
Jacoby Myers, number 3, turns around and looks for the ball. I mean, just an excellent trust. Watch, this ball is in the air, and then Myers, he's trying to get the
4th and 1.
Nice play here. Look at that right arm.
Wow, that's as good as it gets.
Isn't that good?
Terrific play by the.
Well, he's lined up in the slot. We haven't talked about Diggs a lot today, but he's matched up on Hill, their best corner, and he just runs a dig route. When
watching the rush, and it played perfectly into the hands of the Lions defense. They have tight man, so you know it's going to take a little longer for these guys to get open. You get the rush. They don't get Jameis down. He keeps his eyes downfield, and Theo Johnson, one of his favorite go-to guys, again, coming up with a big play for the Giants.
That's where they really were being able to make plays. And as you see the Jets doing a really good job of covering everybody up, nowhere for Lamar Jackson to go with the football. Hopkins backside as he's rolling to the right. The execution has been poor. Harbaugh.
Iosivas is just going to be working his way across the field. Lined up in the slot. Good protection allows Flacco to wait for him to get all the way across the field. Well, you get him matched up on a linebacker, and that's really going to be the difference down the middle of the field. He's in good coverage. Carter's right there.
What everyone is used to seeing, right? You have 2 runs. They get nice gain on both of those runs. Now here comes the play action. Opens up the middle of the field. Of course, the linebackers biting on the play action. And Jared Goff, Amon-Ra, they have that same connection for the past 3.
14 before. Austin Hooper, another New England first down.
Well, good placement that time. Back shouldering it.
Iosivas using some of those track and field All-America credentials that he earned at Princeton.
And if you think, hey, I'm just going to go specifically to T. Higgins and get away from some of the other guys, all of a sudden Gesicki coming back healthy.
Packages as these guys all run out to get to their areas. If you overload them, another 5 yards would help just a little, but watch this route. They end up playing man all.
Play action pass. He's going to go from opposite hash to the outside on a line with some tight coverage. So that shows you the arm talent.
Lou brought everybody here. This is cover 0. He was trying to win the game on this drive. And this is a great job.
Yeah, just watch the route. So he's going to win inside. Then he's going to bend outside to give him some space from the safety before he comes back. And just really...
The 14-win season with Sam Darnold, this was the offense. Under center, throw the ball in the middle of the field.
Again, pressure. They made Josh Allen uncomfortable the entire day.
It's a really well-thrown ball. It's just great defense by Cook.
He's got his first NFL touchdown.
Yeah, coming off the top of that point right there on the trips. And it's just a simple in route coming over the top. You could see the timing and the trust that those two still have. Here.
He went 2-man. They usually have a safety drop into the middle. And by not dropping him into the middle, you left the middle wide open for the first time that I've seen in 2-3 quarters. And Mahomes.
And then the first 2 weeks of this season, but not 3 consecutive regular season.
Yep. It's rare, but this is man.
And you're going to find Cooper Kupp. And he's only got 390 yards receiving and 1 touchdown.
Everything's been too much inside, and you've got to go ahead and challenge these receivers. And then you've got safety coming over, and Watson, who I think should be in the Pro Bowl this year. And I thought he had him throw it to the outside. I think it would have been a touchdown if he hits him on the outside shoulder. And that's how close this season has been.
Just a little, not even really a flat and go, you know, kind of that wheel route type thing, just kind of an arc release.
But watch this design by Shane Steichen and this offense. Kelsey does a great job just finding his zone. He can run across, and he's like, wait, okay, I'm going to wait right here. Just give you a spot to throw. You got the one-on-one up top. Look at this. Hollywood Brown runs by Sauce, but Mahomes is not willing.
I tell you, he's a handful for everybody. Just look at that quick little turn. And when you can take that short little throw and get it.
You're going to run play action, and it's going to be a deep over. Go up the field and then run deep and over across.
Is in a position to make the interception. And truth be told, you know, if you're not battling out there, with for Mike McCoy. Yeah, but here's the thing, right? It's about making plays. The inside receiver going deep. You're going to take that shot down there. That is a well-thrown ball by Cam Ward.
Target Josh Allen not affected at all despite being sacked 5 times. All those blitzers, nobody picks up Shakir. And a tough thing to be able to make that tackle right there. Jalen Reed is in coverage, 23 right here in man coverage. He ends up picking him up late. And because he's a rookie, they're trying to get him out there. You want that Josh Allen has on 3rd down or any down is 10. Shakir, and what a job of stripping that to get it out.
You'll watch Mahomes is going to throw it right inside to Rice. They double team him. Resets.
But already here on the opening drive, this is what you want to see. 2nd down pass. And some of the early losses to the Eagles and the Panthers, it was a lot of...
There, Karlaftis coming in. That ball had to come out earlier. That's when Kansas City's at their best with 4 men rushing. Can affect the quarterback.
You just don't see this ever. But he comes all the way from over here. Here's the man who's going to catch the ball on a crosser. Look at the timing of this. All the Texans defenders are all the way back at the 1st down line. Instead of disrupting, watch him just feel the space, playing zone, reading Josh Allen's eyes, and gets right into that passing lane to allow himself to get a hand on the football. And there's Bullock, who's able to finish on it, be able to come up with that tip ball. Great job by Zero, gets a hand, almost comes up with a pick. And then Bullock, just such a great job, rangy, 2nd-year player out of U.S.